Good evening, folks, and welcome to this week's episode of Beer Rating with Sean Connors. We're still in the pandemic. Right now it's April 22nd, 23rd, so I think we're probably about just over a month into it. So far, everybody is doing well. Washing your hands, social distancing, and all that fun stuff. The beer I have this week, as you can see, it's called Nut Brown. It's from Garrison Brewery, and that is the same brewery as the beer that I did last week, which was Hoppy Boy. Just a little bit about the brewery. They've been around since about 1997 in Halifax, Nova Scotia, eastern Halifax. They consider themselves a seaside brewery, and some of the beers they're named got a bit of a nautical theme to it. The one last week, I believe, was Hoppy Boy. Nothing nautical about this one, but there you go. Not much information on the label. 5% alcohol, and they consider a UK dark ale. And from what I've seen, the whole concept of dark ale, you don't really see that a lot. It's kind of, from my understanding, a little bit of research I did, it's more of a UK thing. The whole thing, dark ale, doesn't really tell you a lot about the ale, other than, obviously, it's dark. With this one, I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit of a nutty flavor. On their website, a little bit of information I did find out about this brew. They say it's rich, dark, and malty. They say crystal and chocolate malt. And they say it's an original Garrison brew, and it's one of their first dark offerings that was available year-round. That's about all the information I could find on it. And a little bit of more research I did. From what my understanding, and I could be wrong, so feel free to correct me if anybody knows, but from other people that have done reviews, they classified it as an English brown ale, which seems to fit. They said, a UK dark ale. So English brown ale, pretty well, it's going to be full-bodied. It's going to be dark, obviously. It's considered a mild ale, malty and sweet again. The color for English brown ales can anywhere from medium amber to reddish hue to a dark brown. So I'm pretty sure this is going to fit in there as well. English brown ales have been around since the 1700s, and at that time it was the most commercial brew that was made at the time. There's several variants of it. It was always known as a blue collar type of beer. At the time, the paler ales at that time were just starting to come into effect, and the higher ups would normally go for it was something new, so those higher ups would drink the paler ale, and the English browns, that was, as I said, the blue collar. And like I said, the whole English brown really doesn't tell you a lot. It's kind of like if somebody said, if you ask somebody what type of wine that was, and they said it's a red wine. Doesn't tell you a lot, gives you the basics, but that's about it. So that's pretty well all the information I could get on it. So we'll crack it open, we'll do a taste test, and we'll go from there. So I'll give my glass a quick cold water rinse, as per usual. If anybody's wondering what I'm reaching over, it's just a little gadget I got for rinsing glasses. Kind of what you'd see in a bar. Crack it open. Not sure if I've ever had one of these before. Quite possibly. This is definitely brown. Not a lot of carbonization, not a lot of head at all. Not a strong aroma. Kind of faintly almost smells a little bit like a stout, which I don't know. Like, I'm no Cicerone, which a Cicerone would be like a beer sommelier, so I'm no expert on beers whatsoever. But to me, it kind of smells like a stout. And it actually kind of looks like a stout as well. Not quite the head of a stout, but let's see how it tastes. Honestly, to me, it kind of tastes like a stout as well. And that is quite surprising. I wasn't expecting that. They said chocolate malt. I find a lot of stouts have like a fairly strong coffee flavor. I'm not getting that at all. So perhaps that's the difference between a malt and a English brown. Let's see what else I'm getting on there. It's not bad actually. It's I wouldn't say it's as easy drinking as say a lager as such, but for an ale, it's fairly easy drinking. Normally ales are a little bit more complex than lagers, and this is no difference in my mind. Now my ratings, once again out of 5, a 1 being a drain pour, don't like it, can't finish it. A 2 is being not a fan, but I'll finish it, I'm not going to waste it. A 3 is a good beer, a 4 is a very good beer, and the 5 is the best beer ever. And for me, most of my beers that I've tasted most of them are between 3 and 4. This one's going to be in that range too, I'm not quite sure where. Offhand, I'm thinking 3 or 3.5. And for me, that's a good rating. That's, it's enjoyable beer by all means. It's nothing that I'm, oh my god, I can't wait till I have another, but definitely enjoy it. Anything 3 and above is, in my books, an enjoyable beer. Now, a lot of people aren't fond of stouts. For me, I don't mind a stout, but I prefer stouts that lean towards a chocolate rather than coffee, as I'm not a coffee drinker. I've had some that were almost like a smoke flavor, and I really didn't like those because to me, it tastes like an ashtray. I'm not getting that with this at all. This, I'm getting a flavor, I'm thinking it's the chocolate more than the coffee. Maybe it's the nuttiness that I'm getting. For a rating, that's the big question next. Oh, before I get to that point, I just want to mention, if anybody, as I mentioned about the Cicerone, and a Cicerone is like a beer sommelier, so basically an expert, and there's different levels you can get. So right now, while we're in the pandemic, everybody's locked down, people are looking for things to do. There's actually a Cicerone who has put together a bunch of live series, educational series about beer. And they started yesterday, and there's 12 of them, I believe. It's every Tuesdays and Thursdays until the end of May. It's 3:30 Newfoundland time, so that would be 3 o'clock Atlantic. So if you're any other time zone, you'd have to check it out. If you're interested, in the one they did yesterday was flavor, taste, and aroma. I found it really interesting. So if you're looking for something to do while you're locked down, check those out by all means. They're on YouTube and they're live every week, and I think even the one that you missed, I think you can go on there and find it. Excuse me. So if anybody is interested, I shared the link to my Facebook page, so you can go there and find it. If anybody's not familiar with my Facebook page, it's the same name, Beer Rating with Sean Connors. So please check it out and join our Facebook page, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, to give this one a rating. I think I'm comfortable giving this one a 3.0. I was tempted to give it a 3.5, but I'm not quite there. But a 3.0, if anybody follows my ratings on a regular basis, that's not a bad rating. That means it's a good beer. It's definitely enjoyable. So by all means, if you can find one, give it a try. Let me know what you think. As I said, this, for the month of April, it was just random beers month. I had a bunch of odd beers in my fridge that I've been looking, actually my friend Mike gave to me there just after Christmas. I think he gave me 12, 13 beers. This is the second last one, so I got one more for next week. And I normally wouldn't do 2 beers from the same brewery back to back, but the one I got for next week, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's a style of beer that I've never had before. I always wanted to try. Don't know if I'm going to like it, but I've always wanted to try it. So I wanted to keep that one for the end of the month. And then for the next 2 months, I have a few ancient Scottish beers. So I might do that for May. But I also have some box of Irish beers as well. So I'm thinking of doing the Scottish next for May, and maybe the Irish for June, but we'll see. But I have one more random beer for next week, so hopefully you can join me then. So there you go, folks. Garrison Brewing. I keep saying brewery, but the name is Garrison Brewing. They're nut brown. I'm going to give it a 3.0, so it's a pretty good beer. So hopefully you can try it and let me know what you think. So there you go, folks. Hopefully everybody's taking care. Until next brew, as always, enjoy responsibly. Cheers, and wash your hands. We can get through this together, folks. Till next week.